my cells are? Excellent choice. Associated colloids is the right answer. Ruchon loves. Strong choice. All are correct is the right answer. Absorption is a nice selection. Bulk phenomenon is the correct and valid answer. Adsorption is the great thinking. Surface phenomena is the right choice. Water vapors are great job. Adsorbed by silica gel is the accurate answer. What is adsorption? On track, Def G is the correct answer. ADL stands for dash. You chose electric double layer, and it is correct. Corrosion in metal is smart move. Adsorption is an accurate answer. Leophobic colloids are good thinking. Irreversible is the right answer. Physical adsorption is correct response. Not very specific is the most accurate answer. Milk is an example of a well-reasoned. Colloid is the correct choice. Butter is an example of good job. Your answer gel works well here. Liquid in liquid sol is you got it. Your choice emulsion is right. Chemisorption is held by well done. Covalent bond is the right choice. Whether the gas has mass. Exactly. Yes makes sense and it is right choice. Gold sol is dash colloid. Excellent. Leophobic is a brilliant choice. A biological catalyst is you're right. An enzyme is the correct answer. Adsorption occurs maximum. Perfect. Rough surface is the correct choice. PET theory was based on solid response. Multilayer adsorption is a valid choice. Powdered coffee and water. Sharp thinking. Sol is the right choice. During adsorption, entropy. Right again. Decreases is a valid answer. Which one is not a colloid? Clear logic. Your choice coffee is sound and 100% true. What is Brownian movement? Bravo. Zigzag movement of colloids is the answer. Examples of leophobic sol? Nicely done. Gold sol is a solid answer. Adsorption is divided into smart pick. Both A and B is the correct choice. Adsorption is invariably an nice work. You chose exothermic process and it is correct. Adsorption is a dash process. Valid point. Exothermic process is true. Entropy during adsorption dash. Well picked. Decreases is the correct answer. Dalton's law is applicable for right choice. Non-reacting gases is the best answer. The term sorption stands for correct. Both adsorption and absorption is the right answer. Which has the largest particles? Well done. Suspension is the right choice. Adsorption is a dash phenomenon. You're right. Surface is the correct answer. Size smaller than 1 mm are called. Nice work. You chose true solution and it is correct. The dispersion medium in cloud is... Valid point. Gas is true. The particle size of colloids are... Nicely done. Tr 1 nm and 100 nm is a solid answer. Who investigated Brownian motion? Well picked. Robert Brown is the correct answer. Soles of proteins is an example of... On track. Macromolecular colloids is the correct answer.
Rough surface of an adsorbent has?
Exactly. More active centers make sense, and it is right choice. Physisorption takes place through... Excellent. Decrease in temperature is a brilliant choice. The term sorption stands for dash. Great thinking. Both absorption and adsorption is the right choice. Physisorption gas is dash in nature. Great job. Irreversible is the accurate answer. What is the charge on hydroxide Sol? Solid response. Positive is a valid choice. Lyophilic colloids is also called as... Well reasoned. Intrinsic colloids is the correct choice.
What is the value of R in cork mol 1?
Sharp thinking. 19A7 is the right choice.
Which are not purely surface phenomena.
Clear logic. Your choice absorption, viscosity is sound and 100% true.
An example for shape-selective catalyst.
Bravo. Zeolite is the answer.
Surface compound formation takes place in...
Strong choice. Chemical adsorption is the right answer. The heat of physical adsorption is about... Correct response. 2040 Jacmol is the most accurate answer. Dash adsorbs moisture from the desiccates. Smart pick. Silica gel is the correct choice. The substance which behave like solute is... Good thinking. Adsorbate is the right answer.
Activated adsorption is the other name of...
Smart move. Chemisorption is an accurate answer. Rate of physical adsorption increase with... Perfect. Decrease in temperature is the correct choice. Which gas is adsorbed strongly by charcoal? Right again. Co is a valid answer. Physisorption is in which thermic process? Good job. Your answer exothermic works well here. Catalyst increases the rate of reaction by... You got it. Your choice decreasing activation energy is right. Which of the following is lyophilic colloid? Correct. Gum is the right answer. Absorbed acetic acid on activated carbon is... Right choice. Adsorbate is the best answer. Colloidal particles of soap sol in water is... You chose negatively charged. And it is correct. Dispersed phase and dispersion medium in fog. Excellent choice. Lick and gas is the right answer. On increasing temperature, chemical adsorption. Nice selection. First increase, then decrease is the correct and valid answer. The gas which is least adsorbed on charcoal is... Great job. 2 is the accurate answer. Electrodisintegration method is used to obtain. You chose metallic colloids, and it is correct. Sodium lauryl sarcosinate is an example of dash. Well reasoned. Anionic surfactants is the correct choice.
The formation of micelles takes place only above. Smart pick. Force temperature is the correct choice.
The catalyst used in the hydrogenation of oil is…
Right again. In is a valid answer. Which substance that includes in aerosol system? Perfect. Smoke is the correct choice.
Rate of physisorption increases with temperature.
Well picked. Decrease in temperature is the correct answer.
Multimolecular layer of adsorption takes place in… Good job. Your answer, physical adsorption, works well here. Colloids have great affinity of dispersion medium.
Nice work. You chose lipophilic colloids, and it is correct.
Area of interface separating two phases depends on…
Clear logic. Your choice size of the particles is sound and 100% true. Zigzag movement of colloidal particles is known as… Bravo! Brownian motion is the answer. Which forms multimolecular layers during adsorption? Correct response. All are correct is the most accurate answer. How many layers are adsorbed in chemical adsorption? Solid response. 1 is a valid choice. Which type of adsorption have high activation energy? Great thinking. Chemical adsorption is the right choice. What is slope value according to Freundlich isotherm? Correct. 1 kin is the right answer. The name of the sol if the dispersion medium is water. Valid point. A quasol is true. A stable mixture of 2 or more liquids, e.g. ice cream. Excellent choice. Emulsion is the right answer. The physisorption gas is accumulated on dash survive. You got it. Your choice solid is right. When did the scientists that discovered Brovane motion? Well done. 1858 is the right choice. Chemisorption takes place only between dash and dash. Smart move. Adsorbent and adsorbate is an accurate answer. Which of the following is not a multimolecular colloids? Excellent. Egg-albumin is a brilliant choice. Which law the following relation describe if SPV equal to a constant? Sharp thinking. Boyle's law is the right choice. Which one among the following is an easily liquefiable gas? Good thinking. Ammonia is the right answer.
Fixed dense layer of ions strongly adsorbed to the surface. You're right. Stern layer is the correct answer. Potential difference between stern layer and diffuse layer. Strong choice. Zeta potential is the right answer. The substance which act as a promoter in Haber's process is… Nice selection. Molybdenum is the correct and valid answer. Which one is an example of multimolecular colloidal system? Exactly. Gold dispersed in water makes sense and it is right choice. Identify the property of colloid related to Tyndall effect. Right choice. Optical property is the best answer. The extent of adsorption of a gas on a solid depends on dash. Nicely done. All are correct is a solid answer. What is the dispersed phase and dispersion medium of aerosol?
On track. Liquid, solid is the correct answer.
Which of the following is an example of associated colloids?
Nice selection. All of above is the correct and valid answer.
Which among the following is the equation for Avogadro's law?
Valid point. F1 equal TOFNO is true.
At high concentration of soap in water, soap behaves as dash.
Nicely done. Associated colloid is a solid answer. The process of settling of colloidal particle is called dash. You chose coagulation, and it is correct.
What is the form of van der Waals equation at high pressures?
Clear logic. Your choice P equal taut is sound and 100% true.
In dash, catalysis state of reactants and catalyst is different.
Excellent choice. Heterogeneous is the right answer.
Which one is most effective for the coagulation of Fe3-sol?
Great job. Play 4 is the accurate answer.
Dash is used as a decolorizer in the manufacture of cane sugar.
Solid response. Animal charcoal is a valid choice.
In the adsorption of acetic acid on charcoal, the acetic acid is...
Good thinking. Adsorbate is the right answer.
Select the colloids coagulated at a node during electrophoresis.
ACE2S3 is the answer.
Which one of the following will act as best protective colloid?
Smart move. Gelatin is an accurate answer.
When was the scientist that discovered Brownian motion was born?
Correct response. 1773 is the most accurate answer.
Which of the following not form a macromolecular colloids in water?
Great thinking. Sodium stearate is the right choice.
Dispersed phase and dispersion medium in jellies are respectively.
Right again. Liquid and solid is a valid answer.
At what Fe range the rate of enzyme catalyzed reaction is maximum?
Exactly 5 to 7 makes sense, and it is right choice.
Temperature above which micelles formation takes place is called as...
You got it? Your choice force temperature is right.
Adsorption of gases on solid surface is generally exothermic because...
Strong choice. Entropy decreases is the right answer.
The formation of micelles takes place only above a temperature called...
Right choice. Force temperature is the best answer.
Which of the following will precipitate the negatively charged colloid?
Smart pick. K-Sil is the correct choice.
In gas masks, which substance is used to absorb toxic gases and vapors?
Nice work. You chose activated charcoal, and it is correct.
In physical adsorption, gas molecules are bound on the solid surface by...
Correct. Van der Waals forces is the right answer.
Electrolyte excess in a colloidal system can be removed by dash process.
You're right. Dialysis is the correct answer.
The value of the compressibility factor for an ideal gas is equal to...
Excellent. 1 is a brilliant choice.
Which of the following is not applicable to the phenomenon of adsorption?
Good job. Your answer delta at Schorzo works well here.
Which of the following process does not occur at the interface of phases? Well reasoned. Homogeneous catalysis is the correct choice.
When adsorption and absorption occurs simultaneously, this process called on track. Sorption is the correct answer.
A substance that allows oil and water to mix or emulsify is known as dash. Well done. Emulsifier surfactant is the right choice. Most micelles are spherical and contain between dash surfactant monomers. Perfect. 5100 is the correct choice. These are colloidal system that the dispersed phase is liquid, except dash. Sharp thinking. Soap foam is the right choice. Chromatography is used to separate different constituents present in a dash. Well picked. Mixture is the correct answer. An adsorption isotherm is a graph plotted between magnitude of dash and dash. On track. Adsorption, pressure is the correct answer. Which one is the example of colloidal system when solid is dispersed in gas? Clear logic. Your choice smoke is sound and 100% true. In gas masks, activated charcoal is used to dash the toxic gases and vapors. You got it? Your choice adsorb is right. The type of colloidal dispersion obtained when egg protein is mixed with water. You chose macromolecular colloids, and it is correct. Movement of colloidal particles under the influence of an electric field is called.
Exactly. Electrophoresis makes sense and it is right choice. The formation of micelles takes place only above a particular temperature known as.
Nice work. You chose forced temperature, and it is correct. The formation of micelles, which occurs only beyond a certain temperature, is called. Valid point. Craft temperature is true.
Movement of dispersion medium under the influence of electronic field is called AS.
Correct response. Electroosmosis is the most accurate answer.
The minimum temperature required for formation of associated colloid is called dash.
Strong choice. Forced temperature is the right answer. Freshly prepared precipitate sometimes gets converted to colloidal solution by dash.
Perfect. Peptization is the correct choice. Soaps essentially form a colloidal solution in water and remove the greasy matter by.
Nice selection. Emulsification is the correct and valid answer.
Which of the following substances will precipitate the negatively charged emulsions?
Great job. KCl is the accurate answer.
Colloid preparation from molecules or ions to form colloidal particles is called dash.
Correct. Condensation is the right answer. The main product obtained when co-reacts with hydrogen in the presence of Ni catalyst. You're right. Methane is the correct answer.
Softening of dash by the ion exchange principle is based on the adsorption of cations.
Well reasoned. Hard water is the correct choice.
The phenomenon in which absorption and adsorption takes place simultaneously is called.
Right again. Sorption is a valid answer. The minimum amount of an electrolyte required to cause coagulation of a sol is called.
Right choice. Coagulation value is the best answer. What is the process in which colloid will coagulate due to the opposite charge presence? Good job.
Your answer, electrophoresis, works well here.
Only allow electrolytes to pass through under the influence of pressure or suction. Pump. Excellent choice. Ultrafiltration is the right answer. Which of the following electrolytes will have maximum coagulating value for agic Ag plus Sol? Bravo! Play 4 is the answer. When a gas is held on the surface of a solid by the chemical bond, then the adsorption is solid response. Chemical adsorption is a valid choice, which can be used as an adsorbent for removal of moisture and controlling humidity in room. Excellent. Silica is a brilliant choice. Activated charcoal is used to remove coloring matter from pure substances. It works by dash. Well picked. Adsorption is the correct answer. If the surface area per unit mass of the dash is greater, then greater is its dash capacity. Nicely done. Adsorbent. Adsorption is a solid answer. Colloids in which there is strong affinity between the dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Good thinking. Lyophilic colloids is the right answer. When dispersed phase is liquid and dispersion medium is gas, the colloidal system is called. Great thinking. Aerosol is the right choice. The curve showing the variation of adsorption with pressure at constant temperature is called. Smart pick. Adsorption isotherm is the correct choice. Silica and alumina are used as adsorbents for removing dash and controlling humidity in a room. Sharp thinking. Moisture is the right choice. Greater the valency, the higher is the coagulating power of ion. This rule was introduced by. Smart move. Hardy-Schulze is an accurate answer. If the dispersed phase is a liquid and the dispersion medium is solid, the colloid is known as. Well done. Gel is the right choice. Which type of colloids is obtained when both dispersed phase and dispersion medium both are solid? Well done. Solid sol is the right choice. The substance which when dissolved in a medium at higher concentration behave as a colloidal sol is. Nice work. You chose associated colloids, and it is correct. Converting a freshly prepared substance into colloidal state by shaking with a suitable electrolyte. Great thinking. Peptization is the right choice. In Freundlich adsorption isotherm, at saturation pressure, the rate of adsorption becomes equal to the rate of dash. Well picked. Desorption is the correct answer. The movement of colloidal particles towards the oppositely charged electrodes on passing electric current is known as. Bravo! Electrophoresis is the answer. How many types of solutions? Correct response. 3 is the most accurate answer. Black pepper, garlic and vinegar. Right choice. There is the best answer. In given image, the graph belongs to? Right again. Chemical adsorption is a valid answer. As temperature increases, what happens to volume? You're right. It increases is the correct answer. Rubber plating and chrome tanning of leather are based on. Smart move. Electrophoresis is an accurate answer.
Sugar water lets light pass through and is a homogeneous mixture.
Good thinking. Solution is the right answer.
The tail of a surfactant molecule is oil-loving, or known as dash.
Well-reasoned. Lipophilic is the correct choice.
In Freundlich adsorption isotherm, at saturation pressure, the rate of adsorption becomes equal to the rate of dash.
Great job! Desorption is the accurate answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Solid response. Contact Narayan Changder is a valid choice.